I want to talk today about this is a time that I build wealth during dips and corrective measures. And I'm going to talk to you about how I do it and just my methodologies and the way I go about it. This is Mike, the tactical stock scalper. All right. So you may have heard this before, but the market seems like the only place that people are afraid to buy things on sale. And it's true. Like, you see the markets going down or your favorite stocks going down or ETFs, and people are afraid to buy. And, it's hard to build wealth when that's your mentality. So let's start at the beginning. Building wealth during dips and corrections is the way that I do it. And it starts before a dip or correction even happens, okay? As the markets are going up and stocks are going up in ETFs, when something gets above my price point, my average cost, I take profits. I don't sell the whole position typically. I'll sell a piece of it, take profits, right? And then I'll take some of those profits, a percentage, and put it into cash. And then the rest I'll reallocate in the market somewhere. Same thing with dividends. If I get dividends and they're above my cost basis, meaning profit, I will reinvest some of the dividends into other securities, and I will take a percentage out and put it in cash. And I do this as the stocks, ETF, or markets continue to rise. So that way I build a cash position waiting on the inevitable, which is a pullback or a dip, okay? And some people call this, it's an opportunity cost. You're not putting all your money right back in the market. Well, I don't use margin, right? So this is how I build cash. And then I deploy the cash I build up at these points, okay? I have my notes here, so I may look down from time to time. If you have conviction in something, belief, conviction, whatever word you want to use, then why aren't you buying lower? And if that's the case, why are you even in this security if you don't have conviction in it? Because you'll never buy the dip. You'll be too nervous, right? So it starts with building cash and having conviction in the security that you own, right? That's what it takes to buy the dip in something. Okay. Corrections and dips are normal and they are fantastic. If you have a trash stock, it's always going to go down, or ETF or whatever. It's never going to get back up. But if you're in something, let's say AMZ or Nvidia, well, it goes up and people take profits, and then it goes down. And then it goes back up again, right? You get it. That's good. That means that you have a stable security, that it goes up and then it comes back down. And then fresh new money comes in. Okay. So we talked about taking profits and putting a percentage into cash. Okay. So the reason you buy lower, this should be common sense, but I want to explain it. The reason you buy lower is to average down on your position, increase share size, and that way when the inevitable happens and it goes back up, hopefully it gets above your cost basis, okay? And then you can repeat the whole process over and over again for years, months, years, decades. And this is how you build wealth. You take profits, reallocate it on a dip and corrective measure. Now, I buy at levels on the chart, and I have videos about that in my membership group. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to join my membership group. And I'm going to do a video this weekend for my members on levels I'm looking at on securities that I'm holding. Okay, so people will say it takes an infinite amount of money to constantly buy the dip, and then you'll run out of money. Well, if you allot a whole bunch at one time, Yeah, that's going to happen. But what I do, and it doesn't matter, guys, you could do it with $100, 1,000, 10,000. The amount of money is irrelevant. You know, the amount of money is only relative to you. It's the percentage that you buy the dip at. So let me explain my methodology. We're going through a dip right now in the markets, okay? And let's just take my NVIDIA position for example. As NVIDIA drops, I only buy with my cash position 5 or 10%, no more. Okay, so I buy at a level, and you don't have to use a chart. I prefer to use a chart. Some people will use like, they're down X amount percentage. Whatever you want to use, I just use a chart because I'm comfortable with technical analysis, okay? So as it goes down to a level, I use a percentage of cash, 5 or 10%, okay? That way it allows me to buy quite a bit if the market keeps dropping. So I use 5 to 10% of my cash at a level. Now here's the key thing. I never buy above that level that I bought. So for instance, let's say you have a stock at $22 and it goes down to 20, and that's where you place your dip buy. Well, if it goes back up, you don't buy again. Well, I don't buy again. I never buy above my dip buys, if that makes sense. So if it gets $20, I dip buy, and then it goes back up, I don't buy any more. That was my dip buy, okay? Now, if it gets $20 and it breaks below 20, well, then I wait for either another level on the chart of the underlying, or a percentage, if you're comfortable with that, or dollar amount or whatever, and then you do your next percentage buy. But you can't do them so close to each other, like 5 cents or something, right? You have to space them out by a percentage or a level on the chart. And then you do another 5 to 10%. And if it goes up from there, you don't buy again, because that was your dip buy. So you bought a dip buy at 20. Let's say you bought another one at 18, just for the sake of argument. Well, you don't buy between 18 and 19 and 20. And you don't buy above 20. You just let it keep working and going up. This way, and this is how I preserve my cash during prolonged dips and corrections. Because you never know how low it can go, right? My last point here is emotions are useless, right? When you see it going down and your account's getting red, a lot of people freak out. They just panic. Well, if you have conviction in the ETF or stock or whatever you're holding, there should be no panic. There should be a time on the flip side for celebration. It's hard to build wealth when the market's constantly moving up and you're constantly having to pay more and more for your shares as it goes up. The time for building wealth is now during dip buys. Now, with dividends coming in every month, maybe you want to do like 15% of cash per dip buy, because you'll have dividends coming in which can supplement your cash reserve you held on the side. So it's up to you. I choose to do 5 to 10%. Just depends how big the dip is and how I want to allocate that cash for that position, and how strongly I have conviction in that particular security. I hope this helps. This is Mike, the Tactical Stock Scalper, out.